Harry Maynor. It's Chris Walton starting the car for this one. Greenheath, number 14, are next. That car started by Paul Turner. And PLR Racing, number 146. That car piloted by Ben Pitch this time. Neil Plymouth started race 1, Ben Pitch starting in race 2. That team, remember, battling for the Masters Championship as well in this race. More on that later. Morpheus Motorsport, number 110. That is Jake Hill. So Jake Hill, as he was earlier on today, taking the start in that car. He has got the 157 next. That's GMR Eco, Gracie Mitchell on board. Then Team Ratters Racing, number 155, Peter Ratcliffe in that car with Team Olympian GRD. Chris Devell taking the start in the car that leads the championship. Let's everyone take a step back and let's get ready to go racing in the Fun Cup Endurance Championship again. Richard John Neal has joined me in the commentary box. Prediction for race winner? I mean, you could sort of just point your finger at anyone on the entry list, but who are we going with?
Whoever wins will have been in a race.
Thank you.
Someone once said to me.
Excellent.
Who's going to win the race? I don't know. I think the Ninkinong might win again.
Do you think?
Yeah, they timed it perfectly, didn't they, in race 1, which was only an hour. And they'll be keen whether these guys come back or not next year, because there's talk about, you know, Ted Bradbury obviously deserves to get a shot at racing further up the endurance ladder. Be great to see him back, but anyway, I reckon they're going to get double. What was yours? What was your prediction?
I sort of agree, although I don't know. I'm gonna put a punt on Morpheus, the 110. I think Jake and Charlie might just do it this time. They'll have learned a lot from that first race, which they can now apply to this, the final round of the season. The lights go out, away we go. It is a very congested run into the first corner already. Some paint traded. They're 3 abreast for the race leaders. On the inside goes the School Club car. That was Phil Keane on the march, and the Uvio car. Look, a fabulous transaction with the Nicky knock round the outside as well. Did that end in contact? I think it might have done. Certainly wide goes the 195 car, and Richard's tip for the victory is the first one to find the grass at turn 1. They rejoin stone dead last again, and will have it all to do, but plenty of time in which to do it, I suppose. Down Lakeside we go for the first time then. Jake Hill there trying to carve his way through. There wasn't really a gap there at the inside of Axiometrics, but he's forcing one anyway, and that will give him the inside line into Ireland. Jake Hill, the yellow and black car, scything his way through, but keep an eye on Phil Keane in the number 22 car, the JPR KL Racing Machine. He is on a charge. He's into second place and already harassing the race leader.
Yeah, Jake will relish this opening stint. It's interesting actually that they've got it's Hill to Hart in the first pit stops, and then Jake's doing 3 and 4, Charlie Hart's doing 5 and 6.
Interesting. Okay.
They obviously don't feel there's any disadvantage to one driver changing to one driver pit stops.
Interesting. Okay. Well, saw some double stinting in race 1, didn't we? That's quite common in the sprint races, but in the endurance slightly less so. The group appears at Hislops. Who's that nipping on the inside into 3rd position? Quite spot the number, but anyway, they move up into 3rd place behind the top 2, who are accelerating out of Nickelbrook Corner. Definitely looks like Phil Keane is on the attack here, doesn't it, as they head towards Druids for the first time. Riding on board, this will be with Neil Burrows, I think, won't it, the 195 car. In behind the 221s, the 221 being driven in this opening stint by Russell Joyce. Oh, sorry, that was 110, I beg your pardon. Jake Hill round the outside of Russell Joyce, who of course himself is a touring car racer these days in TCR UK. But Jake Hill manages to battle it out round the outside and goes through, as does Phil Keane at Lodge Corner. Phil Keane to the lead at Lodge, nips up the inside of Nick Heighton in the 220, and at the end of lap 1 it's car 22 that leads the way. They started 3rd on the grid, but Phil Keane wasting no time in getting to the front.
Good stuff after the disappointment in race number 1, so they'll be keen not to repeat that. Phil at least getting his first stint underway.
Phil will be keen, will he, to...
Oh, did I say that? Oh, sorry, I didn't even...
thought that was intentional.
No, not at all. No. Thank you for spotting it though.
So,
we'll take it.
Phil will be keen. Oh dear me, that was a close moment. Now, who is this car? Oh, it's the 62, isn't it? The Not Fast Extremely Furious, which is a name that completely breaks our timing tower. We can't even get close to fitting the whole name in the timing tower.
Well, Ninky Nonk doesn't go in either. It's not Ninky Not Known.
Yes, that is at least closer to the actual team name than T for X Furious. But anyway, that's who they are, and they are in 3rd position at the moment. Jake Hill here hounding Fast Track, so he's into 5th place now, going for 4th. So Jake again, I mean, he's a British touring car champion. Of course he knows how to negotiate traffic on the opening lap, but he really has been impressive at the start of these races, hasn't he?
Yeah, always. I don't think I've ever been disappointed with Jake. Goes back to the junior days when they had the old G20s, the bubbly shaped ones, which were very good. The days with Sarah Moore, I think, won the championship. Sarah coaching Alicia Pawlowski these days. So many great drivers that could have taken that back. Was it £3 they got for the race one, second position?
Yes, I think it is, and then a grand third, isn't it? So yeah, so they've taken some money. Will have covered some of the costs this weekend. Might get you a set of tyres for the touring car next year, maybe. What do we think? Not quite.
Certainly not for a cup.
No, definitely not. Change there for second, by the way. That was the 62 car moving through. So that was John Perrott in the Not Fast Extremely Furious car and bringing Jake Hill with him. So Jake Hill up into third position now from, where did he start? 13. 10 places gained already. And is that damage to the leading car? I think that front splitter was dragging on the floor then slightly for Phil Keane. I don't know whether he just hit something. I don't think it's major damage, but there were definitely sparks flying then as he went into Lodge Corner. He leads though, uncontested at the end of lap number 2. It's then a battle between John Perrott and Jake Hill for second position, then everyone else in fourth. That is the Skull Club car at the inside line. Russell Joyce being shoved by the Axiometrics. Greenheath are in here, 104. That's Anthony Reid, I believe, in the 104 car for the opening stint. Yes, it is. He's buying into all of this as well. This has got action written all over it.
Just having a quick look to see Team Olympian up to 11th from 16th on the grid. So steady progress in the opening laps as Jake Hill about to make another move. It's his nose in front. That's through, isn't it?
Yeah, makes that move cleanly. Uvio, by the way, 16th, so they're only a few places behind their championship rivals, but they need to be a few places ahead, don't they, by the checkered flag. Plenty of time to make that happen though. We're only 5 minutes into a 3-hour race. Yellow flags. Why is there a yellow flag? That's at Island Bend, I think, because it's pointing to the right, not the left as we look at it. So something's happened at Island and Shell, and that has required the yellow flags to fly. Geometrics here, then School Club, then Greenheath, then 104, then everyone else there, look, is Olympian GRD. So they're the championship leaders. They're inside the top 10 now, I'd say, Richard. This is really good going. Oh, that's drama.
That's a safety car.
It's got to be. That's 41, and I can't see who the other car is. Mercifully, driver getting out, because that car does not look like it's in good shape. Yes, I think that might be Paul Ellis-Smith, actually. Yeah, Scott Woodwis absolutely spot on with that one. So Paul Ellis-Smith out of the car. The 41 car was being driven by Chris Walton. That means we won't get to see Harry Mailer, more than likely, in that car later on. But those two have tangled, and that is indeed a safety car. So safety car out already. On lap number 3 we're on, aren't we? And everyone, we are ready to go. Here they come. Right, into the pit lane. I imagine will come everybody, so the order at the moment, I'm actually going to take a picture of the order at the moment, because I'm pretty sure it's about to change fairly significantly over the next 30 seconds or so. In they come, not a single car is staying out, everyone is pitting. So Olympian in, I can see them out of the window, they're just at the right hand side of shot there. Olympian GRD, they haven't been boxed in yet. Uvio, pulling right in front of them, and look, they are sort of blocking Olympian, not intentionally.
No.
There's just nowhere for them to go. So an Olympian, of course, are ready first. They've now got to negotiate around the back of the Uvio car in front of everybody else. Oh, this is very, very hairy indeed. Out goes Charlie Hart.
Yeah, just behind Hart.
Yes, and ahead of Axiometrics. So they've gained quite a lot there, Olympian GRD. Uvio haven't, and they pulled out right in front of the Ninky Nonk. A phrase that I never thought I'd say. And they do beat the 195 car down the pit lane, and the Uvio machine with a very close call upon the release, and that would have definitely caught Ted Bradbury's attention. Fourth position for Axiometrics, that's the orange and black 103 car. So down into Lodge they go, and Gary Bates with the job now of getting the restart nailed, and he has not really done that. Charlie Hart's gone with him, so it's absolutely nose to tail across the line. Charlie Hart, I'm sure, is going to try and have a go here into Old Hall Corner. Gary Bates defends the inside line, Charlie to the outside line, again won't try and go right round the outside, instead teeing himself up for the switchback, the better exit from the corner. The onboard camera shows it perfectly. There was the momentum, there was the run, but he's on the outside line now, heading towards Cascades. How brave is he going to be? Well, he is a Ginetta Junior race winner, so pretty brave is the answer. He sails round the outside of Gary Bates and into the lead. So it is now the 110 that leads, Greenheath second, and here comes Simon Run, the championship leaders, going for second.
He is, so we could have a good old race battle on here. They'll just be mindful of where the Uvio Hoffman car is, of course, in terms of their championship, but they want to finish off with a win, don't they? So Simon Rudd will want to get in front if he possibly can, down into the banked hairpin Simon Rudd up into P2. Charlie Hart, the new race leader. And I'll tell you what, they were absolutely itching, weren't they, to get going again after that very lengthy safety car period. And we are very much away now. The UVA Hoffman car in third position. And of course, the nearer the number one car is to the front, the less likely it is that the UVA Hoffman car's got the shout at grabbing the points to win.
Yes, you'd have to say so. A long race ahead, yes, but they really need to be moving forward, which they are. The inside there of the 220, and the Ninky Donk trying to come with them. And who's that now? It's got to be Ted, is it? In the 195 car. Yes, it is. Ted Bradbury. And up alongside the 220 car, they will go. Over Clay Hill, inside line for Druids, they will have. I think they're going to pick that place up pretty easily in the end. The leaders sweep through. Axiometrics there holding on to fourth place. Then comes the 221 car. That's Jack Constable now. That car should go well. They didn't get a great exit from Druids there. So Ratter's racing now at the inside. That is John Ratcliffe. They are, John and Peter Ratcliffe at the moment who have done the driving in this race. They will be joined later on by David for stints 4 and 6. Side by side for the lead though, and Charlie Hart having to defend now from Simon Rudd. So Olympian GRD for the first time today, really, Richard, looking likely to lead the way.
Yeah, this is fascinating stuff, isn't it? You've got the newcomer car against a car with a lot more experience and of course speed, because Simon Rudd's won in many things over the years. Leads the championship here.
That's not fast and really extremely furious now, I'd imagine they are. The 62 car beached in the gravel at Lodge Corner. Who is the culprit this time? Vikram Sadira was in the car. Well, we all know what's probably coming now, although it's not far into the gravel. Maybe a bit of martial power could get it going.
Yeah, could well be. I think the drivers don't want that. We don't really want safety cars. We want to see a little bit of racing, particularly with the... great news. Very great news. Well done.
And yeah, Marshall's returning to post. I think they had something to do with that. So Vikram can get going again. No need for a safety car. That is very good news. And it is going to be a clean green track when they arrive down at Lodge Corner this time around. So over the hill comes the battle between UVO and the Ninky Nonk, the 195 car. Never gets old, does it? A big lock-up actually for Bradbury as he closes in on the UVO car ahead. What are they fighting for now? I think they're in 5th and 6th places now. Yes, they are. So 110 leads the way. Olympian GRD is second. Green Heath third, settling into third really, having lost the lead on the restart. And then a benefit for me that I'm noticing already in this race of the bigger grid that we've got. The racing's always been good in Funcup, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you'd have a really good battle for the lead and then quite a few stragglers sort of having a race of their own. Here, everyone has got someone to race. This is what you like to see. You don't have to be on the ultimate pace fighting for race wins to have a really good time.
No, that's a good spot, to be honest, and yeah, the big grids certainly do play into that. As you can see, it doesn't matter what shot we're getting. There's plenty of cars dicing it out, enjoying the sunshine here. Sun's starting to get a little bit low. Is it tomorrow the clocks come back, isn't it?
I think so, yes. I think so.
Yeah.
It's normally festival weekend, to be honest.
It's festival weekend. It's festival weekend next year.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I think it was earlier this year, wasn't it? By a week?
It was. Yeah.
Perhaps. So yeah, that is the case. Quick amendment, by the way. I'm trying to find a pen so I can write this down. Number 49, 49 is not being driven by Marcus Clutton. It is now being driven by John Whitehouse. So I presume they have swapped those drivers around. We'll await confirmation as to whether Marcus gets in the next stint. But that is an amendment there, as here we have a battle for second place. So Olympian GRD have now been caught by Ted Bradbury in the 195 car. And is he going to make a move into Druids Corner? Maybe. We do see some overtakes here in Funcup because you get a big slipstream up the hill. But no, Ted decides to wait for a better opportunity. Looks for the run now through Druids underneath the Paul Warwick Bridge down towards Lodge Corner. And Simon Rudd knows the move is probably coming, pulls to the inside, I don't think to defend, to let him go. Look at that for heads-up driving.
Sensible thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
At this stage of their season, the point that they're in. I can think of drivers that would have battled it, but there's absolutely no need. The sensible thing to do is to let him go at the moment.
Yes, 100%. Top 5 guarantees the championship for Olympian, regardless of what UVO can do. And of course, they're ahead of UVO anyway, so don't get in a fight that could risk contact, could risk even just running wide and picking up a track limits penalty or something, just let him go. Ooh, and you never know, you might well find yourself in the lead before much longer, because Ted Bradbury already snapping at the heels of Charlie Hart, and
who we now get to see racing each other.
indeed so, and it's a real shot in the arm for Ted as well, to go toe-to-toe with someone who has been winning in Ginetta Juniors and sort of say, hey, I'm as good as him. You know, I might not have starred on the Ginetta Junior stage, but I am every bit as good as him. If he's got a promising career ahead of him, then so have I, because, well, right now he looks quicker than Charlie, doesn't he? So, yes, he's more familiar with the car, but it's not like Charlie is massively off the pace. So, yeah, this is a good sign here for Ted, definitely. I think he'll take a lot of confidence from this.
What's your thoughts on Simon Rudd? Because he was passed by Ted Bradbury, but there's no pressure on him.
And Uvio as well, refueling. One churn, I think, for each. So, need to have a lie down, I think, after that stint. We've still got an hour and 3/4 of this to go. That was fantastic stuff. Who's going to win the battle out of the pit lane now is the question. Devel is on his way, and he's going to get past the 110 car. Where's the Ninky Knock? That's not gone yet, has it? It's just leaving now. So another big game for Olympian. Even though they all took fuel, the more experienced team, again, is the one that benefits.
Yeah, it's so key, isn't it, to this championship? There is absolutely no. You can train all you want, but actually being in race trim, doing the driver changes, and that's why the management team are fairly confident about that 10 grand. It very nearly went, but you need that little bit of experience or loss of experience in the pit stop changes in order to grab the extra seconds to come through. He's settled in actually to that P2 at the minute, so it goes down into Oulton Corner. Here comes the third place car, Uvio Hoffman's car in third place, Ninky Nong down in fourth, still with the fastest lap, closing in as they go through turn one. Amazing now, 1:45 on the clock, so actually already halfway, having just had the pit window closed, already halfway towards the next stop, which will be on the 120 to 140 minute mark out of our 3-hour race here. So here is our race leader, Gary Bate, having handed over to Paul Turner at the moment. He's got that wee bit of breathing space over Olympian GRD. Hugo Hoffman's in third place. Now what can the Ninky Nong car do about that gap as we go back to our race leader? It's got to be said, it looks at the moment as if Paul Turner is putting a little bit of space between himself and Christo Bell in P2 as they come down from Hilltop into the Hislop chicane. What was a battle for the lead has settled down now into a fairly comfortable lead for the Greenheath car. Two-car outfit. Gary Bate, Paul Turner in terms of the testing to see whether he can close up on Neil Burrows in the 195 car. So here is the race leader going through. There is Christo Bell in P2, one place ahead of their championship rivals, the Uvio Hoffman car in third position, which is a little way down at the moment. 42 on the clock. Just caught a glimpse of Jake Hill there in the yellow and black car coming under pressure. In fact, he's gone past now. So Neil Burrows has been passed by Jake Hill. Hill up into fourth. So we've got black and white flags going out, warning for Uvio in third place. Now, that's going to be track limits, I'm guessing. Also for the 104 car, EDF car with third stint, David Farrow controls the 104. And Red River, the 200 car, which is Johnny Molan at the moment, so no matter who you are, you still get a warning flag at some point. So things have changed since the pit stops. We've seen Greenheath extend the lead over Olympian. Uvio Hoffman's remaining in third. Now having dropped behind Morpheus. You all right, Andy? Thank you for the water, by the way, getting through that. So yes, we've only got 10 more minutes before the next session happens, but Greenheath have really consolidated the lead here. Christopher Vell doing a good job in second position. The UVO car still in third, and Morpheus now up to fourth.
Yes, they are, aren't they? So they're there or thereabouts still. 8 seconds, 8.5 seconds covering the top 5. But of course, different drivers plugged into the cars now. So the race leading Greenheath car, that's number 14 now, Paul Turner. And did Paul Turner last lead a Fun Cup race? I wonder. Although I think I actually remember asking about an Anglesey. I think he led an Anglesey as well briefly. But Paul Turner, long-time Eco Racing driver, champion, in fact, with Eco. Was he on their championship winning team in 2012? I'll have to double check that, but yeah, well, they won 2012, definitely. I was here, the first Fun Cup race I ever attended. I can't remember whether Paul Turner was driving for them, if I'm honest, but I'll try and find that out. 3 abreast here into Island Bend, that rarely ends well. That was the Johnny Molam driven car, moving up the inside of Axiometrics and the EDF car. Remember, EDF's 246 car is one of the 2 cars fighting for third in the championship, the other one being the 195, which of course is comfortably outscoring them at the moment. They're on the grass, EDF, oh, and they've lost a chunk of the splitter by doing that. There's a drain, I think, on the inside there, which they hit, and that's pulled a bit of the bodywork off the right front corner, so that's why you're supposed to stay on the black stuff. The grass is fraught with danger. How bad is that damage? Let's see as they come down the hill. Can't see because they're stuck behind the Ratters Racing car at the moment. Johnny Molan actually gets overtaken by Ratters Racing. Ratters Racing are absolutely flying these days, aren't they? They are going to be contenders, I think, next year for race victories if they keep this up. That car has Peter Ratcliffe at the wheel now. Johnny Molan coming back at him as they accelerate out of Knickerbrook, up and over the hill. But yeah, really interesting situation here at the front of the field. Greenheath actually extending the margin now. They've just come through to complete their 30th lap. Crammed a lot of action into 30 laps, haven't we? That's pretty incredible. And their lead over UVO, who are now in second place. So UVO, for the first time, Richard, are ahead of Olympian GRD now. So UVO into second, Morpheus up to third, Olympian GRD down into 4th place. Right, speaking of Greenheath, they're leading, they're pulling away, they're looking really good, and down at the Greenheath end of the pit lane is Jamie Peters-Ennis.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, I've got Gary Petty, who's jumped out of the race leading Greenheath car, and that was a very, very...
But a Bob Marley Fun Cup pun, but they escaped me, luckily for all the viewers.
Not my kind of music, I'm afraid. I'm not super familiar. Yeah, well, answers on a postcard. Someone in the YouTube chat can help us, I'm sure.
Oh,
we'll get some suggestions. Yeah. May live to regret asking that, but we are hearing the 103 car has some bodywork rubbing. Oh, yes, it does. 103 on the left rear corner with some bodywork rubbing. They've got PLR just in behind them. This is the fight for bound 10th place, I think. I say about because it's changing every lap. It is, yes, for 10th place actually. Axiometrics in 10th. PLR going into 10th now. The inside, nice move made. That was Ben Pitch, I think, wasn't it, in the PLR car? Yes, it was. As stop-go penalties are now handed out to 109.221. 109 is Morpheus Motorsport. Well, that's Steve Walton. And the 221 Stunt Club Racing's Russell Joyce picking the penalties for track limits, and they may not be the only ones that get those because we are seeing quite a few of them running wide at Cascades.
We're doing time-wise. It's amazing how these stops creep up on you, isn't it? The pit windows. It goes so quickly. People talk about a 3-hour race, but my goodness me, it goes so quickly. That last stint though, probably for me, stint of the season that I've seen.
I'd say so. Up there with the Anglesey stint when everything went haywire into the night race. That was pretty crazy. Yes, the pass in the grass from Riley Phillips, which we're still talking about now. That was pretty cool, but it's been a season of that really. There hasn't been a bad race this year. There hasn't been a dull race, certainly. Even the ones I've not been at, I've caught up with. They've all been really good. Stetterton, Brands Hatch, always action. Croft was really exciting. Whoops, Geometric straight on now at the Hislop chicane. Whether that bodywork rubbing is actually indicative of more damage underneath because they obviously had a whack from someone. But yeah, been a really great season. We talk a lot about the grid size going up, but it wasn't at 30 cars, maybe 30 cars. We've had some terrific racing all year long, and long may that continue. Fun Cup at its absolute finest.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating season to follow and watch, and I think people have been hung up on numbers this year, but be honest, the championships that have done well have sort of bucked the trend, haven't they? The financials, and Fun Cup very clearly has done that, particularly this weekend.
Lap down is the 22. Yes, 1 lap down. So if they could get back on the lead lap and catch a safety car, that could turn their entire race around, couldn't it? So brilliant job by that team as well to get that car fixed after what was a pretty hefty whack in this corner, actually, in race 1 for Ian Loggy. So Keeney with 2 more cars to pass to try and get back on the lead lap, and the last of those cars he'll have to pass is Fabulous Randaccio in the Uvio car, because Fabulous is back in the lead of the race. Jake Hill, though, with a good run over Deers Leap, gets the slipstream. They're both on the limit of adhesion, but they're both still side by side. Phil Keane makes it 3 abreast, surely not. Phil Keane to the inside of both of them into Island Bend, trying to unlap himself. How's this going to work? Keane goes through. Phil Keane back onto the lead lap, and Jake Hill still hasn't actually finished the manoeuvre against the Uvio car. He's got the inside line into Shell, will go back through, but Phil Keane, I mean, fair enough, he's perfectly entitled to try and do that. There's no rule in Fun Cup against that. If he thinks he's fast enough to get back on the lead lap, he's perfectly free to do so, and he did.
Yeah, amazing stuff, and because if you get a safety car now, he's laughing, isn't he?
Exactly. Well,
unless he causes it.
Which he did. No, he knew what he was doing. These are 3 top-level drivers, aren't they? Let's be honest. And they all knew what they were doing there. They all gave each other enough room, not a hint of contact. That was just really great racing. Phil Keane back onto the lead lap now, then. So Keane out in front of this group, not in the lead of the race. Jake Hill leads in the yellow and black 110 car. He's leading car if at all possible.
He certainly will want to. We'll see whether he can manage it. So, still chasing Fabulous Randaccio over Hilltop. Down in towards the chicane we go again. Is Hill going to be maybe just settled with coming in P2 in this one? You can see Farkini ready down in pit lane, poised and ready to jump in the car. Heading up under the Clay Hill bridge right now, and
so in and around that same position now, a bit better actually, 8th spot now. Fate Club with EDF on the tail of those 2 as well, so that's actually a 3-way fight now. That Fate Club, yeah, look, there they are, right on the tail of the Axiometrics car. So 246 now being driven by Vlad Vasiliev for the 2nd time, closing in on the 103 of John Railton, and the 103 machine with a bit of defending to do now to keep hold of this 9th spot.
Motorsport this year in general has been tough for everyone. To get the grids back to where you wanted them to be, it has been a hard slog, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, COVID obviously hit motorsport in general, and we're very fortunate that we're on our way up. It's we haven't had grids this size since pre-COVID, so no, it's looking really positive. As you can see, it's a great atmosphere in this paddock, and more cars have been sold, so yeah, really pleased.
That's fantastic. And obviously new partners this year with Gala Performance coming in, and obviously the continual support with GT and the fabulous coverage from Alpha Live. It's been a great year, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it is, and I think the partners have seen the advantage of doing it. We're getting huge amounts of coverage, if it's on the stream, if it's just on the social media, and everyone's just enjoying it. When it's like that, you can't go too far wrong.
And from your point of view, your old team back in the hunt again, are you slightly wishing you were out there?
Oh, every single race.
Into P3 with PLR to 4th place, depending on how the drive-through penalty affects the time. We'll see how that plays out. Obviously the sign goes out first of all, then it will go. Meanwhile we go with the Uvio Hoffman's car out front that has led for the last 2 stints. I think he's going to go into the next set of the final set of driver pit stops, potential changes, with Fabulous Randaccio handing over to Farkini in the position, and with a 10-second, well, actually virtually 11, so lost a second over the stint, which is not too bad for the race leader.
No, and they can afford to, can't they? It doesn't matter if they lose a bit of time, it doesn't matter if they win the race, as long as they finish in the top 5, it guarantees them the overall championship. Of course, it does throw into the air slightly what happens with the Masters Championship, because if they win the overall championship, I think that means they can't win the Masters Championship, so then it defers to whoever was second in the Masters Championship. That point system is really confusing. I think PLR would be in a good position, but we are chasing confirmation for the Masters.
That's another.
So UVO down underneath the Paul Warwick Bridge towards Lodge Corner in the fading light. But through Lodge Corner they go, and onto another lap. Pit window will open, I suspect, next time by, Richard. So we're very nearly into the final round of pit stops of the season. It's gone by really quickly, this race, hasn't it? And yeah, let's see what drama and intrigue that brings. I also want to take a look at how far back Ted Bradbury is, because he's up into 6th position now, Bradbury. Remember, he was over a minute adrift of the leader. Marshals have at least sort of bodged the barrier back into place. It's only the Rector's how the actual Armco seemed fine, so hopefully no need for a safety car there. And the race can continue on.
The gap's come down, isn't it? 9 seconds now. First to second position, 12 at the start of the previous, or this stint, which we're going into now. So Fabio will hand over to Farchini. We'll see whether we've got any splash and dashes going on, but the pit lane getting very, very busy now with 26 minutes on the clock, and Olympian into pit lane. No more fuel going in. It's going to be a straight run. We were speculating whether they did need any more, but the driver's gone in, so Riley Phillips is in the car, and away they go. Very, very rapid stop, as you would expect from the number 1 car, in and out very quickly indeed. How is the gap going to go with the UVO Hoffman's car when that comes in? So we need to keep our eyes on that. Busy working points.
Trying to figure out the Masters. I do think it's PLR. I do think it's PLR who are in the
3 JPR for hire cars, for example, or 3 Morpheus cars.
I was under the impression it's just a sponsorship change. I just don't think they're running with Morpheus anymore. Hence Ali and his team being here helping running them. I think it is a different team, just the car happens to look the same. Yeah, different team, yeah, it is a different team. So, yeah, I had heard that this morning. So, yeah, the 195 car looks exactly the same as it used to. It's a different team name, same drivers though. Just not quite going to be the same result for them, I don't think, this afternoon as it was earlier on this morning, and indeed last time out at Donington, sorry, that was Ratters. And yeah, these two have been getting very close to each other the last few laps. Ratters Racing and the School Club 22 car.
As you say, not even track position, is it? I'm not sure whether they're aware of that, probably not.
It's Phil Keane in the 22. It's not School Club either, I keep calling it School Club. It's JPR KL Racing. I'm sure it used to be a School Club car. This certainly looks like one. Ratters number 155, I believe, is David Ratcliffe. They've now got the 220 joining in the fun as well. Team FFS. Either Nick Height or Barry Thompson, depending on how many pit stops they've done. So into Lodge, Ratters Racing ahead for now. There's been a lot of squeezing between these two. The cameras, by the way, are making things look a lot brighter than they actually are. It is starting to go dark. The sun has almost set behind the tree line over at the other side of the racetrack. It is starting to get a bit gloomy out there. It really feels like a championship decider now, doesn't it? It does look like Olympian GRD are in a position to wrap up this championship. It's gone down to the wire, it's gone down to the last race. Barring any late dramas now for them, they should be in a good position. PLR Racing are in, by the way, and they are refuelling. And in also came that 22 car, Phil Keane, down over to Ian Logie for the final stint. Pit window is now closed, by the way. So it's almost time for the money stop, isn't it then, for UVO? Where will they come out in relation to Riley Phillips? Riley on the previous lap was a second quicker than them again. It's going to be close this, I think, isn't it?
It is going to be close. PLR have done a little bit of a splash and dash as well. Remember, before the penultimate stop, the gap was 12 seconds. It's come down to just a shade under 4 seconds now, and we'll see as they cross the line on that lap. It comes down to another 3/10. So there is a little bit of a response there from the UVO car.
Yeah, it was a good lap that from UVO, 2:01.4. It was a good lap for Riley at 2:01.0, but he's been in the 2:0s before now, so he can go quicker. Or has gone quicker anyway. I'm sure he's going as quickly as he can, but he has been quicker than that. So we'll have to see what he can do now in the closing stages. Morpheus come through, Charlie Hart in third. Double podium on the cards for Morpheus, not bad for their first weekend in the championship. HLR are on for a double top 10 in their debut. Definitely a couple of good stories for the newcomers. It seems strange to call people like Jake Hill a newcomer to something, but you know what I mean. New to Fun Cup. Right now, all eyes on the battle for the race lead. And look at this traffic now.
Yeah.
Traffic for Farghini. This is not good. Oh, and he's on the grass through Britons. That's one way of getting past the back marker. Luckily for him, I don't think they're monitoring track limits there, but that was definitely beyond the white line. But he wants to win this race. I think regardless of the championship situation, he knows he wants to win. He wants UVO to get a win before the season is out. Leaders then, absolutely nose to tail as they come through the Hislop chicane. And it is game on now. Riley Phillips has got 6 3/4 minutes to try and find a way past the UVO Hoffman's Motorsports car and end the season with that 5th victory of the year. Is in the tow as they head towards Druids Corner, where surely Farghini is going to have to defend the inside line, which he does. Round the outside, attempts to go Riley Phillips. That's a bold and brave move to make at this stage. He doesn't get it on the way in, but he'll be much quicker on the exit of the corner. And again, Farghini knows it, pulls to the inside, defends under the bridge. Again, Riley Phillips will be forced to go the long way round. Every time he does this, he takes a risk, and there is contact. Once, twice into Lodge Corner. Off goes the Olympian GRD car, narrowly avoids the gravel trap, and that is why it has to be a calculated risk. If he goes for the move, he has got to be certain it is clean.
To Blaze, as he may well do, for the chaser, and goes across the line, side by side again, going for the run down into Old Hall Corner. Can't do it, but a little bit of a mistake there from Farghini. Lost a bit of momentum.
Down towards Cascades, it's the final lap of the season. They're absolutely level. They make contact again. UV on the inside line. No! Into the side of Olympian. They're both off the road. Into the gravel goes the UVO car. Can Olympian get going? In a way, it doesn't matter. UVO are going nowhere. UVO are out. Olympian get going. Where is Morpheus? They were 25 seconds back. Could Jake Hill and Charlie Hart yet win the race? Because this car may have some damage as a result of that, and Morpheus could pick up the win. The championship is done. The championship will go to Olympian GRD, but in what dramatic fashion. It really was a battle right to the end. The car is wounded. It's still going though, and I think, Richard, they're still in the lead.
Absolutely incredible. I don't know who wrote the script for this one, but I think there's going to be a screenplay Oscar in the offing here for this one. Incredible stuff. You don't want to see a car go. Here's a replay.
It's a tiny knock, and then Farghini he wasn't going to give up the corner. He wasn't going to give up the corner, was he? Carried all the speed in that he could. The car didn't really stick. An unfortunate end to what had been a splendid battle up to that point, really. But anyway, Olympian are still going. That is the key thing. The car is damaged. You can see it cramming the left rear corner. The toe has been knocked right out, but it doesn't really matter. As long as they bring it home, they will be the champions in possibly the most dramatic fashion possible, really. We wondered whether Riley Phillips would go for it. We wondered how pointy Farghini's elbows would get. And, well, we got our answers, didn't we? Riley was going to go for it. Farghini wasn't going to give it up. But in the end, it is Olympian GRD who have won the day. They come through Druids Corner. They've got one more corner to survive to win the race. The Axiometrics car has stopped. Look on the run towards Lodge for the final time as well. Up towards the final turn they will come though. Olympian GRD, Christabel, Riley Phillips, Simon Rudd are double champions in the Fun Cup Endurance Championship. Back-to-back victories in the championship. A 5th win of the year. They've done it again. What a fantastic job. What a sense of relief there must be in that garage right now. They hold on not only to win the race, they seal the championship as well. And there'll be a conversation to be had after that as well, I think. Charlie Hart and Jake Hill, another 2nd place finish. Really impressive stuff from them. And would you believe it, the Ninkinon will end up on the podium, because I think they have managed to keep that baying pack of cars behind them. They will come through certainly ahead of UVO Hoffman's Motorsport, we know that. And I think that Ted Bradbury and Neil Burrows are going to pick themselves up a podium. We wait with bated breath for them to come. Here they come.